Yes.
Good evening, sir. Sir Ramesh Aditya this side from Shankar IAS Academy. Can you please unmute your audio and video, sir?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sir, good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Fine, sir. Excellent. Sir, with me, Dr. Gopalakrishnan, the principal of KSR College of Technology, is there.
Sir, good evening, sir. I'm Dr. R. Gopalakrishnan, Principal K. Rangaswamy College of Technology, sir. It is near Erode, Trichandur. How are you, sir?
Thank you, ரொம்ப சந்தோஷங்க. ரொம்ப எங்க
ரொம்ப
இருக்கீங்க
சந்தோஷம், sir.
பிரின்சிபலுக்கு? இல்லையா? Very good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, he's the youngest principal in the region of Tamil Nadu, sir.
Oh,
And
very good.
Yes, very active, and he was taking care of different roles and responsibilities, and he's taking KSR into a different level now.
Very good, very good.
I was heading placement, sir, earlier. Placement officer for the entire institutions.
Very good. ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம்.
அப்படிதான் எங்களுக்கு தெரியும் சார் எங்க ரெண்டு பேத்துக்கும்.
அப்படியா? Okay, okay. ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம்.
Yes, sir. We have a crowd of mixed crowd here. People from Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and UP also have joined in.
Okay.
So the request is about being the request of language is going to be English.
Okay, okay. I understand.
I know that you are going to ask me, but I have told you in advance, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So
yes, please. Sir. Anything else? Any other ground rules so that should we start?
So there is no rule, sir. So
in fact, we had, but Aditya sir mentioned, no, there should not be any formality. Straight away, we have to go ahead. So we can.
Yeah.
So it is due to the respect of your time, sir. I told him, sir, had a very long process. I told him, sir, agenda, and I told him, let us cut short. Let us welcome, sir, and sir will give the floor to sir, so that the students will be benefited out of it.
Yeah, great.
Yes, sir. You can start, sir.
Start? Okay. So, good evening, everyone. I am not sure how many of them are joined. How many of them are here?
200
right now.
200 plus.
Oh, okay. There are 200 people there. Okay, so I hope I am audible to everyone because Zoom is technology, and Zoom, they all have a mind of their own. Whichever you compare and program them. So I hope all of you can hear me very well. And so it's nice to actually virtually talk to a lot of people. Although I'm able to imagine a crowd of 200 people coming from different parts of the country. But I'm not able to see quite a few. But thanks to Shankar IAS Academy, where they are actively trying to do these things so that they can keep in touch with students and keep in touch with their motivation levels and etc. So I'll do a small introduction of myself so that all of you are, I think they've circulated some kind of an ad. So I'll just keep it very brief. My name is Ram Kumar. I studied in Coimbatore predominantly. I did my undergraduation from Coimbatore in psychology. I did my post-graduation in social work from Meta School of Social Work. And I had cleared UPSC in the year 2013. I belong to the 2012 exams, and I belong to the 2013 batch. That was my second attempt. In my first attempt, I had cleared prelims, but I could not clear the main exam. My second attempt, I had cleared the entire process, and I got the Assam Meghalaya cadre. Assam Meghalaya is the only joint cadre as of now, so which is there. And I in Assam Meghalaya part, I'm in Meghalaya, and I am presently holding the position of Mission Director of National Health Mission, where I had the surveillance programs and all the other kind of most things related to COVID here in the state as of now. So with this brief introduction of myself, I just would like to, I assume that, please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Ramesh, or that most of the audience are preparing for civil service, or they are all in college? What is the demography of this audience?
So there are, I was just interacting with them before you came in. I have a mix here. There are people who are willing to go for civil services, and there are people who have already started it.
Okay.
There's a mix. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, let me start with people who are doing their college life, because
Yes,
that's
sir.
a very important thing, I guess. Then I'll gradually come to people who are already doing for civil services. I will keep
Excellent.
my, it's the time is 5:07, so I will finish it. I'll wind up by 5:30. Then we'll open it for questions. If people have already want to give questions by writing to Ramesh or someone who has given by a message or something, you can ask the questions. Or if some student wants to come and interact, I don't know what is the mechanism. We can have it either ways.
Sir, we have made it in this way, sir. I told them to be silent and listen to you first. And after your session, if there are any questions, they can post it in Q&A box and chat box, and we will moderate the particular session so that you can answer those questions, sir.
Okay, so I'll take it. I'll take all the questions from you. Then can you, if you can collect the questions and keep it ready,
I can do
then
that.
I can take. Okay, great. So we'll do it.
I will do it, sir. No
Fine.
problem, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Thank you, sir.
So first thing for the students who are doing college, I think whatever course you are studying, I would like to tell one thing: be very diligent about what you're studying. Generally, it becomes a tendency where we think that okay, college is something. I just need to pass this college. After that, I let me go and study for UPSC or something else and become a great person, just like a lot of great people have done. A lot of movie heroes have performed. Life is not like that. You are measured at every single instance of how qualitatively you have used your time. In UPSC interview, I'll just give a small example there. In my interview times, most of my questions came from my graduation and post graduation. It is the almost it is synonymous with more than at least 30-40% of UPSC candidates who have gone through. Most of the questions comes from your graduation and post graduation. What you have done in your life is what they are interested in. That is the in fact my interview board chairman is presently working with Meghalaya on an advisory level. So I had met him, and it was a very interesting conversation to meet your own the person who was in your as a chairman of your board, and to talk interview board, and now to work with him is, I don't think so many of them would have had that kind of an opportunity. So it was quite a funny thing. So, but there, I kind of also understood that it's like that, where what you have done with your life in after school, college, and whether have you taken conscious decisions of going into engineering, arts, science, culture, whatever it is. Have you done that? And during that course, have you studied whatever was told to you to study? Very have you done that properly? If you like it or not, or how much have you done that? Some people probably are pushed because of family circumstances, but you're not interested at all to do that. That's perfectly fine. But have you tried to do that? That is the question. At least have you tried to make an effort? So that I would make as a thumb rule. That's like one of the first things I would tell you, that whatever you're doing now, do it properly, do it with a lot of conviction, and do it with a lot of belief, and give it a maximum try. Never get depressed or bogged down because of any if you're not able to understand something. Try to find out. This world is full of resources now. You'll be able to find out. And during being a student, or if you are preparing for a civil service preparation, or you're in a college as a student, it's a great time. It's a great time to keep your eyes, mind, and ears open. That time you need to focus on uh, how can you gain experience or learning during that period. That should be your most second important thumb rule. For that to happen, you need to invest quite a bit of your time in two things. In reading, first is reading outside your college syllabus or UPSC syllabus and etc. You need to do a lot of interesting reading. I mean, nothing like books, nothing like reading. Unless you read, you will never know what is happening here and what you are doing here. You will not able to contextualize what is happening around you. You can read anything, but keep reading. Keep reading as a habit. Read 10 pages a day. Read Batman, you don't want to read anything but read. Keep reading some 10 pages every day, but don't consider reading only as online reading as reading. We do read a lot these days, but it's all online reading. But I would recommend that all of you to do some kind of book reading. Either read it in Kindle or read it in a bought book so that you can read 10 to 15 pages per day. Have that as a thumb rule. That would be my very, very important suggestion, because it will open up your mind. The moment your mind and opens up, then there won't be any guidance required for you. It's just the entire education process is just to make your mind open to a lot of things. UPSC's preparation process is also just like that. How do you make your mind open? Then the third thing is that for people who are in colleges, etc., a lot of times it happens that we do things which we don't like, but we do things for recognition. That, someone might pat on my back and say that you're doing a good job, or someone might pat on my back and or someone might feel that he is quite a stud or a hero or a star in the class, and etc. For that recognition, you might be doing things. If you can get rid of that kind of mentality to always have recognition, always have an approval from someone else outside for all the things you do, that will be a great quality when you come into bureaucracy. Because these days these are social media, and these are the days of a lot of avenues for you to get famous, infamous, both ways. So we should know how to handle it from a very beginning, at the earliest stage of your life. So if you can think about that, I mean, I'm just giving a thought. If you can think about that you will not go into that process of getting recognition or asking for recognition or asking for approval from someone else. Oh, TK, but he has done a very good work. Oh, let us see, he's done very good. Your photos are being recognized, liked, shared. That is, if that is going to measure your happiness now, that's not the great way to go on. So I know a lot of people, we see a lot of people whose happiness is driven by the number of likes and shares they get on the social medias, or that should not be the case. Are you deriving happiness from the things you're doing? That should be the measure. Are you actually deriving happiness from something you're doing? That should be the measure. And that is the only thing which is going to help anyone of us. For those, again, in UPSC preparation and for students, I would say develop hobbies. Not because UPSC has a hobbies column or something. Hobbies expects you, gives a perspective for you to keep your life in balance. It will not imbalance you, and it will, whenever you have some kind of a dull time or dull legging, and this job can give a lot of, plus and a lot of situations where you have to, focus, but you don't have the energy or the acumen to focus at that particular period of time. You might want to have good hobbies, and these hobbies are a must. And the last thing I want to say about for people who are in college and etc., have good friends. This is probably the last time in your life where you will make friends for life. So make good friends, and that's very important. That's as important as to read, to develop a hobby, to avoid bad company, and for everything, having good friends is a very, very important thing. A friend is not just a person who hangs around with you, but who cares about you, and who there is a concern for what you do in life. That's very important. That's very, very important. I was very lucky to have great friends during my college time, who we still continue as great friends. But then I realized I made great friends there. After that, I made good friends, but I never made great friends. Great friends, I think, are fossilized at your college level. And coming to UPSC. So I think some of you are preparing to UPSC, and some of you are would like to give a shot at it. For those who want to give a shot at it, I'll tell you why you probably should take this job is what I'll start with. Let me not go into what is prelim structure and etc. I think all of you know about all those things, are probably more informed than I am these days, because I have done, it's been 7-8 years since I wrote my last exam. So, that is the second thing. But what I want to talk to you about is that why is this job probably a little special, and probably little matters little more. Every job is a great job. Every job has a place in its society. It doesn't matter what job you are doing in, from being the most simple and the most physical work to do, from the most cerebral work you do. Every job has a place in society. Everyone's place is very, very important in society. But this job has some speciality to it. The speciality is that First thing is that you are given a good amount of responsibility at a very young age. So in UPSC, that's what they try to find out. Do you have the maturity to take the responsibility is what they check. Or at least are you aware enough to adapt to that level of maturity, so that you can, you can take on situations like that. First few days of my job, this was in my independent job. In fact, I had done a probation in Assam in Sibsagar district for 1 year. Then I had joined Meghalaya for the probation and this thing on a very good, during my probation time itself. In fact, two incidents, one incident during probation time, one incident didn't happen this time. During probation incident, it was hardly 2-3 weeks into my this thing. There was my collector's PA called me and he said that sir wants you to go to this place called, it's there in the town. So there is one circle of one, what do you call, a tahsildar or circle officer, however you would like to call in your places. He's waiting for you. I said like, okay, let me go. I went, there was some police standing outside, and there was this person, he welcomed me. He said like, sir, can we go? I was like, what is it? Why are we here? He said, no, we want to do something called inquest. I didn't know. I mean, although I had heard about inquest, but it did not strike me at that level for what is inquest exactly. Those are the times when internet was not, it was fast, but not fast enough everywhere. So you can't immediately Google and find out or what it is. Then it's like, okay, let's go and do this thing. Then he said, police is there. Then the police were explaining, oh, okay, this is the person and one guy, one average, one elderly, not elderly, one adult man, 55 years old around, supposedly he was sitting and crying. I'm like, what happened? Why is he crying? I was just facing him and asking, why is he crying? What happened to this thing? No, sir, his wife he came into the home and his wife, he saw his wife being, she was dead. Oh, what happened? Where is the wife? He said, just behind you. The moment I turned, there was a dead body lying just straight, and with her murdered. In fact, wife was murdered. So neck strangled with this thing, and that's the first time I'm seeing at least a murdered a person at that proximity. This is just to start with, and there are other kind of things which many other my friends have gone through, and etc. But that time you cannot faint or you cannot react in any way. You are supposed to respond to the situation, not react to the situation. Do you have the maturity to do it? Is the question. That are the kind of situations which you will start encountering on day 1, day 2 of your, when you start your job and etc. But what the job gives is that day I had seen a right away dead body, and that next within 3 hours, there was this big temple in the town, and the collector was the chairman of the temple. He wanted me to go to the temple to make there was a allotment of shops and etc. I wanted to go do that. So that also I had to do. It was, you see a dead body, you go to a temple. In the evening, you're doing some other work. In the night, probably when you are bored of the food they give you, you're starting cooking on your own food. So this is a job which has a lot of variety and a lot of interesting things in life. If you are curious about life, if you want to know, okay, I've lived in a place for last 10 years, 15 years. Now I want to experience what world is like, then this job is for you. For those people who want to know, okay, what could be like, what I never knew where Garo Hills was in Meghalaya. I don't know where Sibsagar was. I never know. You of course read in the map, and UPSC geography was my option. You read something about it, but you don't know what life is there. But once you come here and start living, you can live lives. You can live different lives of different people. And this country is an amazing country with so many different cultures and values and etc. You can live lives of you. You can still have your roots either in UP, in Karnataka, in Delhi, in Chennai, in Kerala, wherever you can have your roots, but you can still live a life somewhere else at a level of people. Even in armed forces live the life, but they live within a confinement of their own boundary level. They don't come out. They don't even know what is the local life outside. People from BSNL, they work from different places. People from PSUs, they work, but they don't know the life because their life are confined with their set of work people. But your life, if you go as an IAS officer or an IPS officer or a forest service officer, any all India service, you get to live along with people, and you like to know what is their food, what is their habit, and everything. So that forms a great part of this job. And I would like to tell one more example. One very senior IAS officer. he retired and he became governor of one of the states of the country, and then again he's not even governor now. So he is belonging to around 1970 batch or something. In 1989, he was posted as joint secretary for in one of the in petroleum and oil ministry, when oil and petroleum ministry was started and etc. And there he was posted. He had not seen a oil rig in his life. He had never seen what is crude oil. He had never seen how is oil drilled and everything. In the next 2 years, 1991 and 1992, 3 years, he was one of the top five energy experts in the world. This job gives that kind of exposure to you. This job gives kind of challenge new things to you. Today I'm looking into health. Tomorrow I might go and look into something called power department. I might go and have to work with for social welfare. Tomorrow I might go do something else. But at each leg of your job, it's actually a totally new different vertical. And in that vertical, you learn a lot of things. This life in this civil services is a lot about learning, and that learning I enjoy the most. So that's something I can talk about. And I think for people who love to have different careers within a big career, this job is for you. And I would also say this pretty seriously. Don't come to this job. I mean, people who are thinking, I won't say don't come. It's like people who are looking to come say, I want to serve people and etc. I kind of think that's pretty much big bullshit and etc. That doesn't how it works. So what made me motivated towards this work, although I want to be in public services, but that was not for serving people or anything. I wanted to do something because I was at the receiving end of a government machinery. I used to go for a caste certificate, or I used to go for an income certificate. It used to take time. I'm like, why is it taking time? We are a country. We are a society. As a society, as a country, we should improve. How do we improve? You improve your governance structure. One of the ways to improve, there are multiple ways to improve the governance structure. One of the ways to improve is join the services, be a part of the system, and improve it. I think probably that's what I had a view. I think I won't, say that, okay, if you come with that kind of view, it's a very bad view or anything. I won't say that. But come to do a job with as sincerity and perfection as much as possible. That would make your life here much more easier. Else, there are 100 other things which will make you consider this job as, probably you will get disillusioned because of the job, which I hope, I really wish it doesn't happen to any of you, because that's a very important aspect. For UPSC preparation, I would say that 2-3 things are very important for studying. First thing, you will always have to read and probably by heart is Constitution of India. That is something for every college going student and every UPSC preparation aspirant. Constitution of India guides your work day in, day out. Your appointment is made about a section of in Constitution, based on an article in Constitution of India, which empowers the president to appoint permanent civil services here. And because of that very reason, because of the reason what is governing this country, you should read Constitution of India, and that you should be thorough with Constitution of India, the spirit of Constitution of India. Thorough is not like, what is the age of a Supreme Court judge, High Court judge, MLA, that is not those all. Google is there to do all of those things. You should understand what is the spirit of this Constitution. There are 3 things. There is a spirit, there is a letter, and there is a practice. Spirit of Constitution is very, very and very well enshrined in the debates of Constitution, in the Constitution itself. Those things are the things you should actually actively watch out for. And coming with preparation, with maybe a little bit, I will not talk about the details of how prelims, mains, and etc. 2-3 thumb rules again I'll give for preparation, and I'll stop with that. One is that how much should I study? This is a question everyone in UPSC preparation before, even I had the doubt. Because once I saw the syllabus and I was reading through it, I was like, people to really read so much and become an IAS officer? I was like, how is it even possible? How do you even do this, all these things? Then it is not exactly like that. It is how much you read is not important. How well you are read is important. How well you are read depends on some quantity, but it depends more on the quality of reading. That I really, really wish all of you focus on the quality of your reading. It's not that you have to read. When I stepped into UPSC and I was in Delhi and etc., I was going through to get motivated to read some kind of interview of people who had passed the examination. In fact, some of them were very demotivating for me because someone said that I used to prepare for 22 hours per day. I was like, 22 hours per day? I could not sit through more than 6 hours. How do you do 22 hours per day? Then I understood these were all fake, kind of, what do you call, blowing a trumpet which you don't even own it. Nothing like 22 hours per day. I think maximum you can read. I mean, the maximum time I ever hit was 8.5, 9 hours of quality study. Maximum. That was on an average was 7 to 8 hours. That is what I could pull through, and I could not do any more quality than that. But the people keep saying that consistency is a virtue of a donkey, an ass, and etc. But it's not like that. Consistency is the virtue of a hardworking man or a hardworking woman. You need to see to that you are working consistently on a day-to-day basis rather than binging 12, 18 hours one day and going off for the next 2 days. That's not going to take anyone anywhere. It's only for it. You have to do same thing repeatedly every day. Read the same texts which are supposed to be read on a standard mail repeatedly. Don't wait for notes to come. Don't wait for half sentence notes. Make your own notes. Read the actual text. What is the raw text? Go to the raw text and read it. Only then you will understand. You will say raw text is boring. Why should I use it? It is not even handy. It is not, this tidbits of newspaper notes every day I get is sufficient enough for me to clear. You will clear the exam. Don't come here for clearing the exam. Please don't. I mean, that if that is going to be the challenge, that is not a challenge. You are here to do, you should have your target for the next 30 years, 40, 35 years of your life. What am I going to do in the job is what you should think about. Clearing exam is the first step. The next important step, even further steps are how good are you going to be in your job. For that, your reading habit is a must, and qualitative reading is a must. And qualitative reading and taking notes is a must. In IAS, as an IAS officer, you will be reading throughout your life. Reading and making sense is going to be your USP. So keep that as a habit, and that's very important. And one more thing is that take notes. I would like to advise everyone. There are two kinds of people who pass the examination, who are there with me in academy also. They are the kind of people who will clear all kind of exams. You give them any exam, they will clear. I had friends who topped in 10th standard, national level, CBSE toppers, 12th topper, IIT, IIM, IPS, IFS, IAS. And there are combinations like this. They will pass any kind of exam you give it to them. So because they understand what is an exam and how do you have to study and how do you have to write. That is one category of people. I am not that category of person. There's a second category of people. Most of them, or at least 70-80% of people who turn up in academy, are the hardworking ones, the ones who will day in, day out slog it out. That is, you can determine which category you belong to. But the second category people are the marathon runners, and be a marathon runner. That's a very important lesson for life. Sprint is entertainment. Sprint golds are counted in Olympics, but it is a marathon runner who inspires marathon as an event across the world. 100-meter sprint has not been such a great famous event across the world, but marathon has become much more a famous and a fancied activity these days, because that takes a lot of mental preparation. Of course, getting a 100-meter gold is not going to be any easy, or none of us are going to, probably are not in that league. But the marathon runner has a longevity, and they are the ones who have a bigger, who know why they are there. That marathon race you should be ready for. Take one step at a time. It's not like that tomorrow I'm going to start with geography, I'm going to read entire geomorphology, climatology, everything together, or economics, I'm going to finish this economics fully and I'm going to be ready. Please don't do that. Take one step at a time. Do things repeatedly, do things every day until you find a way. And the last thing I would say is that practice. Whenever you are preparing for prelims, preparing for mains, you are as good as your practice. You're not as good as your preparation. You're as good as your practice. Please take that into consideration. With that, I will stop here. I'm open to any questions on what I spoke or anything else in general.
Sir, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Sir, there are questions already popping up. And sir, the first question is like how to read and make NCERT notes. It's straight away getting into preparation.
Very good, very good. That's a very simple answer. It's not very difficult. So first of all, if you're going to study from your 6th standard textbooks, you make subject-wise notes. That's one thing. First rule is make subject-wise notes. Second, make notes in a way, whether you want to make it in a notebook or you want to make it in separate A4 sheets, it's up to you to do, or those days are gone. If you want to be writing on an iPad or something, you can do as you wish. But what you are not supposed to take is, you are supposed to note down some timelines. That is important. You need to know when India got independence, at least that. You just can't say that, no, I know India got independence, but I don't know when. That is not going to work. Some major dates you need to remember. But more than that, the modern way of perspective of looking at history is that it's not like which king won which war. It's about what happened because of the winning. What happened because someone lost? What happened because of a new religion coming in? What happened because of new religion going out? That is the kind of learnings you need to make. And based on that, I used to make notes. Like, I used to take a dynasty, and in a dynasty, if it's I'm trying for ancient history, then the dynasty, these are the timelines were there. These are the kind of what do you call the learnings? These are the kind of kings who thrived, and these are the kind of economic activities it was there, and this is the kind of cultural activities there. Socio, economic, political, and cultural. For any subject, look into these 4 angles. If there can't be a cultural aspect to economics, but there can be a social and economic, social and political angle to economic subject. And that way you need to maintain this thing and write in the best of your handwriting. Do not, just scribble the way and etc. Use a standard pen and a standard paper and use to write it as the best possible, because you're going to read the notes again and again. And when you see the notes, you should feel proud about yourself that, okay, I've taken this much effort, so I should go through this. And that is the way you should make notes in a very, very clear and legible manner. You can choose history, you can choose economics, you can choose geography. Political science, I don't know what is the new 11th and 12th NCERT book, but when we did, it was an okay book, not of much sense on that. But environment was a good book, which was environmental, ecological, and science, and this thing. You can read and make some notes about it. Notes in such a way that don't write just the kingdom kingdom was, don't write 2-syllable, 3-syllable sentences. Write a full sentence. Once you write full sentence, there's a way how brain functions, and the brain remembers full sentences much better than Battle of Panipat was this, Battle of Plassey was this, Battle of Buxar was this. That is not going to help. You need to write little more full sentences than that. Little more, not too big simple sentences, but some full sentences. Yes.
Sir, hello, sir. It is very difficult to maintain continuity in this time. Please suggest how to maintain the same.
I told you, consistency is a virtue of a hardworking person. That is the only thing is going to determine. Unless you're going to, maintain consistency. Well, how do you maintain consistency in this time? Is that start looking into this entire COVID situation as like a great historical event which you are living through. It's a tough situation. It's a hard situation for many of people who are not in the Zoom call, but for people outside. But look into that, all the parameters, look into all this thing, make sense out of the data. Look into the disease, look into what it has done to the world, look in terms of economics and how strong or fragile is the global economics now in comparison to the previous flu. You can take Spanish flu data, and that is quite data is not available. You can look into that and make an analysis. Try to write an article on COVID. If you're bored about studying anything else, or even what about it, write an article on COVID on one angle of the COVID, say the economic angle of COVID for India or for your state or for your even district. What is it doing? Just start writing, jotting down your thoughts and processes. That will help you to go through this entire situation. But consistency, nothing like
that. Sir, when did you start your preparation? Was it at the UG or PG level or at your schooling?
I think I had no other idea of any other job. This was the only job or only thing I ever wanted. Probably given a half chance, that would have been even difficult than UPSC. I would have loved to direct movies or something like that, but that was very difficult to get into it. So I don't think so. I would have, although I have a lot of friends who are there in the field, but I think it would have been pretty difficult because it's a lot of luck is involved in that matter, and I don't want to get into a field where But the preparation started when. Probably during very serious preparation started only during my post-graduation times. I started during the reading the NCERT, the histories and everything. But during my undergraduation itself, I was interested in quizzing as an activity. I was reading. I do a lot of reading. I did a lot of quizzing. Quizzing helps you in prelims. It teaches you the habit of elimination of a wrong answer. That is a very important thing. In my prelims, marks were always I mean, I don't want to say here because it might make some people feel not good about it. So I don't want to say about it. But I was very good in prelims because I felt prelims was very easy. In fact, 2 hours prelims I used to finish in 1.5 hours.
Okay, sir. Okay.
And at this thing. So the actual preparation started around it post-graduation. But I think that's a good ideal time to start also. But in UG, I think I always recommend all of you to focus on your subject and little bit of a hobbies which you can develop for life.
Excellent, sir. Excellent, sir. Sir, there is another question. I am a beginner, fresher for preparing UPSC without any guidance from centers. What should I do now?
Start reading papers. Start reading everything. Reading is the first place where you have to start. Start with the smallest of the books. Start with the simplest of the books. You can start with Chetan Bhagat. You can start with someone like Robin Sharma, but you have to climb. You can't get stuck there. That's very important. We read first of all. Be very very true to read books in your languages. Whatever your mother tongue is, that whichever you can read and write in that language, you need to start reading some books. That's also very very important. If you are that age, that is the first thing you have to do. If you are going to ask me specifically, what should I start with UPSC? In UPSC, the first thing is to start with NCERT. First, go through the syllabus of UPSC. Many of us forget to go through the syllabus of UPSC. Go through the syllabus of UPSC. After going through the syllabus of UPSC, do kind of find out which are the areas you understand a little bit, what you know about a little bit. Then go and refer the question papers. Last 5-year question papers are there. Then see, okay, this is the syllabus. This is the question paper. Where am I between? I don't even understand the question, or I'm able to understand, but I don't know how to write. I know how to write, but I don't know who to evaluate. Where you are determines how you're going to go ahead. If you're going to say, I don't even understand the questions, then you have to do a lot of reading from first. Start with NCERT, then find out an online course, or there are hundreds of materials today in online. I don't think you require any other help from there. Then you are saying that, no, I'm able to read through the questions, but I'm not able to give the right answer. I know the question, but I think my answers are not right. Then you need to go for fact. You have to go to a lot of rereading of what you have read already. The third thing is, if I'm able to write the answer, but I'm not able to get evaluated or something, that you need time. You need an academy or someone to help you out whether you're writing properly. And that is the time when you need to also see that whether you're able to put your thoughts together. That if you're not able to get it, you should read a topic in newspaper, understand what they're saying, and start practicing in writing. As I said, like Corona, etc., keep practicing and writing.
Sir, when we see the syllabus of general studies, it's like an ocean. The problem is when to start this question. Where to start and when to start the preparation. That's the question here.
Yeah. So I told you, right? Because it's not that all of us who are sitting here who passed everything, we are thorough with every single point of what is UPSC syllabus, nothing like that. You have to start small. That's what I'm saying. Don't look at the ocean. Look at the small rivulets which start from the hills. When they become a river, then it becomes finally into an ocean. Start from the small steps. Start reading newspaper every day, first of all, so that in every day you have a newspaper reading first. Then you start reading some books every day and see that you can be able to read everything. Then the moment you start doing this regularly, you will know the water which was there in mountain only has come to ocean. It's not a big different, totally okay. It's a different ocean of sulfuric acid or something. It's the same water which has flown into the ocean. So these small steps only will add to your final ocean.
Sir, there is another question. This student wants to know your success strategy. How did you clear this examination?
There is no strategy except hard working. I think there is some smart working which you should do. like I said that, first of all, I did not buy too many books. That's one thing I did. So don't think that just because you bought a lot of books and big books and that so that you can pass examination. That's a big fallacy you will face. You will probably get intimidated by that. One thing I did was that I was regular. I was regular in whatever I was doing. As I said, consistently, I was doing the same thing again and again. And the second thing was I used to observe I used to attend mock tests pretty seriously. Although I used to get out of 100 questions, I used to get only 28, 30 and all correct. And I used to get 30, 40 wrong. I still used to take mock tests regularly because it gives you where you stand. What is an idea where you do it? That feedback. You should be very honest with that. Whether am I actually preparing or I'm just telling everyone that I'm preparing, but I'm not even able to get these answers correctly. Where am I going wrong? That is very important. Mock test is very important. Third thing is that you need to develop a strategy for prelims and mains. It's an exam, so exam has some strategy. Prelims strategy is that don't attend all the questions. When we were doing it, I was the first batch of CSAT. When both of the papers were not just qualifying, but both of them marks were calculated and all. So we didn't know what was coming and etc. So I used to have this strategy of not to attend more than 80 to 85 questions when it was 100 questions. I hope still it's 100 questions only for GS paper. I used to not attend more than 80 to 85. Even if though I knew also, I will 100% if I know I will attend, otherwise I will not attend it. Because your negative marks will probably take you down. And there is a way to attend the questions where you don't, if you're not sure about a question at all, you should not have ever attend it. If you're able to eliminate one option, then you should try to do something about that question. That is for prelims. Mains, your writing practice is important. You have to keep writing throughout from the day you clear your mains. Prelims exam is done. Take a couple of days off, watch your movies or whatever you want to binge watch. Start preparing for mains immediately. Write as much as you read. That is very important to pass clear mains exam. You have to finish the paper in mains. That is the key point to get through to interview.
Sir, next question is, can you please suggest the recommended textbooks for preparing for UPSC Civil Services examination?
I am really very bad at it. I think I am outdated on those things. You just trust. This is one more thumb rule. One academy, one newspaper, one monthly magazine. Maybe today, since YouTube is there, one YouTube channel. Just take these 4 things. Only 4 things you keep doing. Don't go to multiple academies. Don't read multiple papers. Don't watch multiple YouTube channels. That is a very bad idea. Keep doing one of them. All of them are eventually going to even out and say the same things. Okay, not much of this thing. You can associate yourself with one of these things at consistent pace.
Sir, in relation to that, there is another question. Coaching center or own preparation? Which one is better, sir?
It depends on how do you want to be? That is the question. So in my case, I had done options in Shankar. I had done Tamil literature and geography. At the time, it was 2 options. So Tamil literature and geography, both at Shankar. GS and everything was my own preparation. I did not go to any academy, but I regularly took mock tests. I regularly, I diligently read all the notebooks and etc. I mean, the actual textbooks, and I took notes for myself and etc. I did. So I'm a case of both. You require academy for one thing. That would be like some direction. If you think that I don't even have direction, I don't know where to go, then you probably require an academy to show you, okay, this is the road, this is how you can travel, road you can travel by. None of the academies promise like that if you come and join us, we'll definitely make you pass, because all of us know that that's not going to be the case. It's all the academies are there in which how good they can show you a direction. And second thing is the chances of finding a peer group is probably slightly higher in an academy rather than anywhere else. In academy, you will know, okay, these people I can sit and talk, and these people I can sit and make group discussions, properly active discussions. Then you will also know what is your competition like. Okay, this is the person I'm competing with. Okay, this is the fellow, I'm competing with. This is the lady who is, I'm competing with. For these 3 reasons, direction, peer group, and your competition. These 3 reasons are the reasons why you should probably go for an academy. If you think you have all these 3 reasons, then you can do an own preparation.
So there is another question again from a student. He wants to know how to have proper memory. The problem of memory is haunting.
Right. Keep writing. I don't know. The problem of memory can be sorted out only by writing. You write 3 times everything, whatever you read. There are not many reasons why you can forget. There is no capsule where you can swallow and your memory will increase. or there is no other thing, two things can do help. A little bit of meditation can help. Focus, which can help in memory. And the second is that writing, nothing like writing. You keep on writing, you might think that you have forgotten something, but when you want to actually write something, it will hit your memory back, and thoughts will flood your memory. Yeah.
Sir, in newspaper, there is another question. In newspaper, how to find it is an important topic or not?
It's a very simple thing. If in any news which concerns policy is important. It does not matter whether Prime Minister says that, okay, that whatever the meeting had happened, what Prime Minister says in terms of whether China had come or not, this is secondary for you. The actual thing, what matters is that whether where did this Indian-Chinese issue start, from what year, what was how will it affect India's external affairs policy, what are the pros and cons. That kind of news is important. It is not important that as a civil servant, this could be slightly harsh if I say, but I mean, I hope all of you understand what I'm saying. Say if a people representative like an MLA or MP died because of COVID, that is a news. But as a civil service preparation person, you should know that, okay, COVID is a problem and people are dying of COVID. That is what you should be focused on. Not focused on, okay, why this MLA died and that MP died, or this prominent film actor died, or etc. That is not the point of concern. Whatever is a policy matter for government, that is the news you should focus on.
Right, sir. So there is another question. When to start for optional subject preparation and answer writing? And related to that, there is another question. How to choose an optional subject?
So first I'll say how to choose option, and then I'll say when to do. How to choose option subject is go through the syllabus again of all the subjects which are there. If you're graduation, you can choose an option, great. But there are this problem with civil engineering, mechanical engineering, and all. There are not many people to guide through if you have a doubt. But many people have done that, but they've taken it also. But you can go through the syllabus of each subject, though at least a subject which is there in the market. Or if you want to say, no, I'm very confident about my subject, please do that. That will be the best thing to do. Best thing to have. And if you said, like, I'm very good in what my subject, then please do that. So in your best option subjects, whatever it is, go through the syllabus, go through the questions, and see which again you like. The same theory what I said for how to start for UPSC itself. The second thing is that when do you start writing? The time between your generally between your prelims and mains is definitely what you will do the preparation, that for writing an exam, everything. But you should never study separately for prelims or mains. You should study always for an exam. Okay, this is my exam and I will have to study. In that, if you have specifically an option, this thing, every day you have to dedicate some time and start doing it. For every day you have to do that option, at least 1 hour you have to dedicate, because otherwise you will, because if you choose a subject, if you're a civil engineer and you're choosing a subject like sociology, you will forget a lot of things unless you write and read, and if you have a consistency, if you maintain, you will probably forget. So it has to be a holistic preparation.
Sir, about UPSC interview, so what kind of questions can we expect?
You never know what kind of questions you will expect. First of all, as I said, whatever you're going to put in your detailed application form, DAF, that in the detailed application form, whatever you're going to put, the questions are going to come from that only. So, and what you have done with your life in the last whatever age you have done, beyond once you come into a lightly adult life, what you have done in the last 18 to 25 or 18 to what you have done, that is what they're all interested about. UPSC interviews can be anyway. It can be super boring to super interesting to totally in between, and very argumentative. It could be anything what you want. But they are all interested to see whether as a personality, are you a matured person or not.
Sir, kindly tell us about the importance of language in UPSC examinations. I think this student is asking about the writing skills.
Writing as a language for GS and etc., or the language paper?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
No, language in GS and etc.
Be honest. Be honest. But at the same time, your language should not be like that. Okay, I will not listen to what you are saying. The language should be in such a way that this is my opinion and I'm expressing my opinion in a firm manner. That is how your language should be. That it should not be like that. Okay, we should not be too obedient. I will totally discourage. It should not be too generalistic. It should not be like that, okay, no, so everyone says this is a model answer for answer, so I'm writing a model answer. No, you are an adult. When you're adult in examination, you're expected to read all these questions and answers and subject, and then expected to express your opinion. That is what they ask for. And look at what kind of question they ask. They're asking whether explain, give an opinion or a comment. What are they asking? They're asking you're giving your opinion or comment, you have to give your opinion, not facts there. Because they already assume that they know the facts. They're asking for your opinion there. They're trying to talk to you like an adult. And during that time, you need to talk to them like an adult.
Sir, there is another question with regard to the writing part. Will the bad and handwriting affect the results?
Not much, actually. I've seen bad handwriting, good handwriting. Good handwriting definitely helps a little bit, but bad handwriting doesn't affect the results. My handwriting is not great, and if people can read through your paper, but the point is, the person who is reading through the paper evaluates exams, so he gets tired of looking at papers. So you should not make his life more painful. You should just see to that your handwriting is legible and he can read through it. That's all. It need not be the most beautiful handwriting. If you have beautiful handwriting, you'll definitely attract attention, right? With a good dress, you attract attention, right? Just like that. So, but if after getting attention, okay, you're dressed very well, so I'll talk to you. But if you don't have any content, then the opinion will go back very badly. So it's not like that. So it's like content, always the content. Write it in a legible manner. Spacing is important in writing between the words.
Spacing. So you were talking about the number of, writing the tests for a preliminary examination. How many tests one should take to take the actual preliminary examination?
You can divide it subject wise. So if you want history, take 3 tests in history, take 3 tests in economics, take tests like this, and then finally take 2-3 tests with the entire thing compared. That would be my advice. That will help you put a lot of things in. 3 tests in each subject vertical. It need not be a 100-question test. It could be a 50-question test, but preferably the final 3 general tests you're taking and all should be full 2 hours sitting and try to simulate an exam environment. That is very important. That's very important. Otherwise, when you go to exam hall, some people get tense, nervous, and they forget everything. During our time, people, instead of roll number, they used to write their phone numbers and come back, and all kind of things happen. So you should know how to hold your nerve. For that, again, practice.
All right, sir. Participants, do you have any more questions? Be quick. Sir's time is so precious. Dr. Gopalakrishnan, sir? Yes, sir. The questions have stopped coming in. I think we have covered.
So one question to sir.
Yes, sir, you can.
Sir.
Yes, sir, you can.
It's not about the preparation of service examination. It's about probably you can take a minute to answer this. Sir, I was able to read your article when you joined in this particular Meghalaya process that Gil called Garo Hills. You just wrote it as when I first reached, it was fully dark. A Tamil IAS officer lit up Meghalaya region. Could you please share for a minute, possible?
That was a very interesting experience. So I was first, my posting as an independent posting was in a very remote area. So from Tamil Nadu, when we go, we see street lights everywhere. Street light is a very important marker for us. But that place did not even have a single street light. So it was it was very not only shocking, it's just like, why could it not be there? So can we do something about it? So we tried to write it to MNRE. Even the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy from Government of India had given us an offer that any young officers who would like to take such kind of project should be taken. We'll give an approval and etc. So they gave an approval, but there was a process to root through and etc. And with a lot of help, a lot of pushing, and with a lot of consistently commitments and etc. Then we were able to put up the street lights. It still works. It's been 5 years now, I guess 4 or 5 years now, but it still is very much alive there. And that's still only the very few, probably only one interior village in entire Meghalaya which has full street lights. So we had done that project. People had given a lot of support. It's a part of the job which you're supposed to do, but it is not that easy to do. But that time we got a little lucky and we got it done completely also.
That's really amazing, sir. I think more than 700 panels, 250 kilowatt peak.
Yeah, yeah, and so power was. I mean, if you have more time, I would actually describe my life there itself was quite an incredible experience. So it's almost in the middle of a forest when when I had reached there, it was hardly a place, and maybe that would be a different session. I guess it's quite a good.
Sure, sir.
It's a big
We'll
story.
trouble you, sir. We'll trouble you.
Yeah, sure, sometime.
Thank you,
sir. Ramkumar, sir, there is another question. How to avoid demotivation during preparation?
This is a very important question, actually. How do you not get demotivated during preparation?
Yes, sir.
It's a very important question, actually. The one thing is that you need to always see the long picture. That's the key difference between the people who clear and probably people who struggle. Many of them are talented, but they get demotivated. One thing what you can try doing is that take the small exams other than UPSC exams also, like bank exam, take like something. That small success will give you some good feeling. Okay, I can do this. Now I can, don't think it's over. Why should I go write for teacher recruitment board or anything? Every job is a job. But I also got jobs. IBPS was introduced during the first time, was introduced during our times. I cleared in the first IBPS. But I could not clear a group 4 exams in TNPSC or a group 2 exam or something like that. I was there. I don't know which group 2 and group 1 or group 4 and group 2. I could not even clear it, but that doesn't matter. But I cleared IBPS, I cleared SBI bank exam, PO exam. That small success gives you some confidence, not only for you, it gives confidence for your family. And they will also support you. If they keep supporting you, you will never get demotivated. That's a very, very important thing. You need to always talk to your family about the process you're going through. You need to bring them. You say like, my parents will not understand. They're very, simple people. They're humble. They don't know what it's. To talk to them, they will understand. No one spends so much time like parent to understand a child. So you can always talk to them, your family, whoever is there. You can talk to them. They will understand what you're trying to do. But the small exams you should take so that you can feel that motivation going all the time. That you can confirm that, okay, I'm on the right path. I think I can, if I can clear this exam, I can clear that exam also.
So there is another gentleman who's very curious about your interview experience. Tell me about your interview experience, sir.
It was pretty actually boring to say. I had already almost spent so much of time of my life thinking about UPSC interview and everything. But it was not. In fact, that I said in the first of my thing, the person who interviewed me, chairman of the interview panel, is an advisory board of Meghalaya. I work with him now. So the questions are not great. In fact, one of the panelists slept during my interview. Can you imagine that? The person sitting next to me, there were 4 panelists and 1 chairman. He slept in the interview.
Okay.
It cannot get boring than that. Can it get boring? So it was very, few questions are very interesting, 2-3 questions, but every other question was normal question. I did not feel anything, but I had written my interview experience somewhere in my email just to see to that so that I remember and etc. They can share it with someone. It was written satirically. It was written, so you can. I'm also a writer.
Share it with me, sir. We'll publish.
Sure. I'm also a writer, so I have written a book of short story collection in Tamil. So I started probably trying to write using my UPSC interview experience only. That was one first pieces I read. People, my friends and family, were saying it was very funny to read the thing, but maybe I can share it.
What is the title of the book, sir?
My title in Tamil is called Agadi.
Agadi. Okay, sir.
I think it's there in Kindle, but it's difficult to find on hard copy because it's mostly sold out. 200. We published only 200 copies, but everything got sold out already. I need to publish again. Let's see.
Okay, sir. And there is another question. Is there any sacrifice happened to become an IAS officer? And what kind of sacrifice you have done, sir?
No, I enjoyed through the process. I didn't feel anything as a sacrifice. I thoroughly enjoyed through the process. I like learning. So I learned a lot of things every day, new things every day. And it was exciting. Every day was exciting. Yes, some calls first time when you did not get through mains, I was a little worried because I was not sure whether I was on the right direction. I mean, am I writing the right answer or not, and etc. So the mains marks came. The first mains marks came. Then the paper which I had thought I did not do well, I was less. The paper which I thought I did very well, I got really good marks. I said, like, okay, fine. Now I'm on right track. I know how to write. I'm just making some mistakes, so I'll correct it and I can write it. So sacrifice as such, it's maybe little festivals here and there. You might have to sacrifice. You might miss, skip going home and etc. But everything else I enjoyed through the process.
Sir, is learning Hindi very important in this service?
You will eventually learn it. It's not that it is nothing like, if you nothing like quote unquote important. It is like, what do you call? It's like adapting to new food or adapting to new environment. If you don't have knowledge, you'll learn it. So I did not know any word of Hindi when I came to civil services, but now I can speak fluent Hindi.
So there is one question, sir. I would like to clear UPSC civil services examination in the first attempt. Please give tips.
Why is that you want to clear in first attempt? I don't understand. And what will you learn if you don't fail? You have to fail. Only then you learn. It's very important to fail in life. It's very important to fail quick, learn quick.
I didn't expect this answer from you, sir. I hope all the participants will be surprised to hear this. You want to give...
See, you should build for life. Don't, as I said, don't run for the 100 meters, run for the marathon. And the marathon running takes time. Probably many of them are not glued to TV to watch who is sprinting, but it is the most important thing. That is what keeps Olympics and sports good. No, the spirit
Wonderful,
of...
sir.
Okay.
Wonderful, sir. Dr. Gopalakrishnan, sir, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think that question regarding if someone wanted to know what my family situation or etc., I wanted to clear in first attempt. You can't exactly decide and get right on the one go. For that, it's difficult. A lot of variables in that. There's a small amount of luck in that. So yes, it's not that, okay, everyone can clear and everyone. There are hundreds of people much better than me who prepared for the civil examination. They could not get through for a variety of reasons. So it's not there, but it's a process. You have to go through the process. You have to keep consistently hitting it.
Yes, sir. And there is one light question. So as a civil servant, so what are the sweetest experiences you have?
Oh, every day, almost. Every day is sweet. You can make or break things. The solar lights which we did a lot of work in improving the maternal and child health in Meghalaya. I think that it is not an article. It must be a YouTube video or something. You can Google as Southwest Garo Hills, Meghalaya. Maybe my face might come up or something. And we did a lot of things with training people with solar lights, very humble women with solar lights. We did a lot of work. I mean, every day is exciting because you can do something new, and nothing satisfies you like doing something and feeling that the results of it. That is probably the greatest satisfaction one can get. Doing something and realizing the benefits of it.
Sir, I think the questions are through.
Good. Okay, so great. Then I also have to rush somewhere else.
It's already 1 hour 5 minutes of your time, sir. And sir, is there any final advice or tip you would like to give to our participants?
There is, only one thing. Actually, there is no tips to anything. The only way is that you have to work hard. All those people who have achieved everything in the world have done the same thing. You may not see it, but at the back end, it's a lot of hard work. And those who are famous, those who have done very good job, those who have civil services, it's only thing is that remember that the journey to Himalayas or Mount Everest starts from one step at a time. It is not that you jump from here to there directly. It's one step at a time. But the direction your eyes should be always on the peak where you want to achieve, or you want to go to Mariana Trench below the ocean. Also, that also starts with one step at a time. One step, 1 feet at a time. That thing, and keep reading a lot of books, a lot of literature, novels. If you want to read Tamil, short stories, English, Kannada, all of this have rich literature background. Read newspaper, make yourself aware, a citizen who is well aware of what is going on around you. That is the only tip I would give. With that words, I would like to thank everyone for patiently listening to, I hope, to listening to me. I hope whatever I said or helped you in some way in, reaching out. My email ID is there in the web, our government website. It should be there. It's ramkumar.s@ias.nic.in. I will repeat. It's Ramkumar, RAMKUMAR, ramkumar.s@ias.nic.in. Yeah, that would be my email. Anything, if you want, you can just push it up. I generally reply in time, but this COVID times takes a lot of my other time generally. I'll try to still reply on time. So I wish all the best to everyone, and all the best to Shankar Academy also for keep doing great job.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your
Pleasure.
time. It's already 1 hour and 8 minutes, and really great to have you on this webinar. Soon we'll meet again on another occasion. And
Sure.
Sir, Dr. Gopalakrishnan, sir.
Yeah, sir, I'll take a minute, sir. Excuse me, sir. Yeah. So good evening, all of you, Mr. Ramkumar IAS and Mr. Ramesh Aditya and faculty members and student friends. Very good evening. Sir, straight away, I just wanted to give the vote of thanks in a single line. Sir, you opened up, because you mentioned once anybody's mind opened up, there is no need of any guidance. So I'll tell you today, based on your inputs, lot of inputs, start from reading, having good friends, and IAS is about A to Z. It's not only clearing how you will be good in that particular job. So you mentioned everything. It's not only you will be administering things. You have to be involved in everything. You have to enjoy in each and every activity. Then apart from that, you also mentioned about how a person should be consistent, because you should not be like a person who in the sprint event that's 100 meter, you should be like a marathon runner. So in that note, you also should not have a demotivation. So thank you very much, sir. All your words, it's opened up lot of young minds mind. So there is no need of further guidance for those people. Thank you very much for coming to our case Rangasamy College of Technology virtually and giving a lot of insights about civil services as a career option. Thank you very much, and thanks to Mr. Ramesh Aditya sir for hosting it and acting as a moderator, and to Shankar IAS Academy. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Be safe, sir. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Same to you all.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice evening and have a nice weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dear participants, I have shared my contact, and there are a couple of links being shared. So please make use of that. And one I have shared about iasparliament.com, the blog which we have prepared about the recommended book list and everything. And another link for your NCERT textbook download. And you can also go and look into our YouTube channel, Shankar IAS Academy. And you are welcome to check our IAS Parliament website for attending quiz and daily test every day on current affairs. And please get into Facebook and like our page so that you will get lots of inputs, videos that will be reaching you. So we wish you all the very best. So hope to see you as a civil servant soon. God bless. Really... God bless. God bless. Good luck. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Gopalakrishnan, sir.
Yes, sir. Happy to associate with you, sir. Really, it's nice.
Thank you, sir. Always. We'll again meet, sir, in campus soon.
Sure, sir. Be safe, sir. Stay safe.
Be safe, sir. Thank you. Have a nice weekend, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.